the third aspect of conscience is doubtful conscience. When one cannot choose between good and bad choices, you can't choose between goods. They are just like Mpre, Oguru, the conscience is doubtful. One cannot choose between good and bad choices. Here, the domain of those who feel there cannot be any change. Example, doubtful consciences cannot register for the National Identification Number (NIN) and will not get personal voters card. Such persons will not vote on election day, but expect their tribesmen and women to emerge as winners. Unfortunately, most of us belongs to these doubtful consciences. Last conscience, the fourth one, is when one sees no sin where there actually is sin. Those with last conscience do not see sin where there is actually sin is. This is domain of careless people, some politicians and elites. They believe they can be in the rosy palace and bed of the politicians and political enemies, change their father's name, tradition to collect enough money, leak secrets of their people, help the adversary to gain advantage of their people, collect titles and positions from the opponents, without knowing that the same enemy that will ban him or her to sell his people see him as a political or religious prostitute. Last conscience. Then the fifth one is scrupulous consciences. The scrupulous consciences is that judges that there is sin when there is really no sin. And that judges that something is mortal, earthly, and sin, it is only venial. Then delicate conscience. Delicate conscience tells us of consciences judged correctly and with careful attention concerning the acts that are being to be performed. This is the domain of our youths and children who see the reality of time and want to effect changes. Some who were brought up in different backgrounds manifest the characters inherent in those backgrounds. The obedient youths remain within the control with the unruly, denying parents and relationship of their whereabouts until they are either in prison or lost in a political action. When you have a delicate conscience, most youths are within the control. They are very conscious of what they are doing. But there are also the other side of those who get lost within the inferno, the political inferno. I'm a thug. They'll die in that action. In summary, as I begin to conclude, considering the 6 different types of consciences, good or bad choices are determined by our correct conscience. If we make a mistake in judgment and think something that is good is actually bad, that's our erroneous conscience at work. Certain conscience is the complete absence of whether our decision is good or bad. In other words, in summary, as I begin to conclude, let's ask ourselves, Akon Uche is a desirable feature of Igbo thought, which helps to harness the action processes of Ndigbo. Very critical. That's why we chose Akon Uche today. It is very critical, which enables us to harness our actions of Ndigbo. The 2 words Akon Uche play an active part, yet this lecture has enumerated numerous meanings of our core and has considered different types of Uche, consciences, heart, psyche, and mind. Hence, the following can be deduced. Ndigbo, that's by way of counsel now. I have 4 counsels. Ndigbo need to change their thoughts, adopt positive, correct consciences for good action, processes in the Nigerian project. Ndigbo should not operate with the greedy aphorism, I before others, I Igbo. Greedy, I before others, that's they say what it means. Right, that greedy. Ndigbo should also be brainstorm as a...
Now, the situation of Ndigbo is similar to this. There are other instances. What do we do? Because that's the title of the paper, Ako na Uche. What do we do? There are a number of choices before us. Some of us want Biafra. Some of us want restructuring. Some of us want presidency come 2023. What do we do? We need to look inward. We need to be diplomatic. And we need extra wisdom. Number one, well, we desire Biafra. But the truth is that the way we are going about it, we make our home battlefield. A wise man doesn't do that. A wise man doesn't make his home a battlefield. We must find a way of continuing the battle in another way. That is one. Two, the issue of restructuring. The Southwest, they want restructuring. Southwest is also talking about it. And because we need to network with others, we also want restructuring. But the government in place doesn't want to hear about restructuring. What do we do? What do we do? Good. The third option, presidency come 2023. With power, you can do anything. You can even turn a man into a woman. In principle, we want power come 2023. But how do we go about it? Tact, diplomacy, and wisdom. The way we are going about it today doesn't give much joy. You see, recently the Southern governors had a meeting in Lagos. Only one Igbo governor attended. Recently, they came up with wonderful resolutions, including that each state should pass anti-open grazing law. We know Abia and the Enugu did it. Some Igbo states are still doing like this. Even the meeting the Southern governors had in Enugu, only the host governor was there. Our own brothers didn't come. How many of us have asked them why? Recently, the issue of electronic voting at the National Assembly came up. Our people, senators, they missed, either they were there or didn't vote, or they didn't come. How many of us have asked them question? We have said that we need tact and diplomacy. Come 2022, we shall take power. But all of us must sit down and work. We must work. Now, voter registration is going on. A number of us haven't done it. This is a responsibility to every person here. When you get home, your family, your children, every person must go and register. That is one. Two, we don't need njakiri this time. Our people must talk less this period and plan and think. And then we must network with others. So if we get power, we should not make fuss about it. And we are wasting our time and resources doing things that are not necessary. We must reprioritize for us to get there. I don't want to waste your time, ladies and gentlemen, but I want to tell our people, our people, wherever you are, if you want us to get this thing come 2020, you must start working. Every person has talent. Do your own. If you're in the market, tell people to go and register. Tell people to go and register. Our people must go and register. We can't be talking by mouth. We want power without doing the necessary thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we must go as collected people. And our people are keep on investing outside. You must invest outside, but you must think home too. We want our place to develop. We want people, if you invest here, go home and invest. We are talking of VAT. We thank the governor of Rivers State for starting the fight. We want our people to start going to invest home so that with VAT there, the government there can stand, whether there's allocation or not. And so It is a collective responsibility. We must all work towards it. By the special grace of God, we shall get there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
For justice in Nigeria, for which the Catholic Church, to which I belong, established a Justice and Peace Commission. Because you cannot rule a people, particularly in a federation like Nigeria, without justice, without equity, without looking at the problems of everybody and trying to solve them. And one of the things we tell our people, like Charles Mwekakwa said, come out, register to vote in elections, because we don't vote in elections. And he's telling on our people, come out and vote. And then wherever you go in this world, try to respect the cultures and practices of other people. Sometimes you meet things that are very queer. There are cultures in the world where a man entertains his visitors with his wife, where women marry men. They call it polyandry. And we see this kind of thing, give people the respect that is due to them, take the respect that is due to you, behave the way you should, fight for your people. Politics is, we have to love and be loved. I would like to stop here and thank you for your cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.